Hello there, I'm Sarah Longson. I'm a women's chess master and I play for the England women's chess team. I'm proud to say I was the British Ladies Champion in 2013. Welcome to my video on how to win at chess. A video I want all of you to watch. Some of you will be here because you're interested in chess, and some of you may be here because you're just a little bit intrigued. Well, let me tell you why everyone should be very interested. Chess players are fantastic problem solvers, which is a skill everyone needs in meetings, especially in negotiations, so we don't end up in stalemate, which we'll learn about later. Chess is a difficult game. It's easy to learn, yet impossible to master. During this video, I'm going to take you through checkmate and stalemate. Once you have understood these concepts, I guarantee you two things. One, chess will be more exciting as you'll understand what you're actually trying to do rather than just moving pieces around and capturing your opponent's pieces. Secondly, you'll win more games. And we all like winning, right? Okay, let's jump straight in. What is checkmate? Checkmate is the object of the game. It's when you put your opponent's king in a position where they can't escape. So in the example I have on screen, if the queen moved to e7, black's king is in checkmate. Check is when the king is attacked and can escape. So here, the king cannot capture the queen because it's defended by the rook. It cannot move sideways because of the checks from the queen, and it cannot move forwards diagonally because of the queen. It cannot capture the queen because that queen is defended by the rook. So it's checkmate. There's three ways of getting out of check: move, capture, and block. So here, we cannot move the king due to the queen, we cannot capture the queen due to the rook, and we cannot block because the king and queen are directly next to each other. So we win the game. In this position, we could also go queen g8, which is checkmate. Can the king move? No, because the queen covers this line and the rook covers this line. So everywhere it attempts to move to would be walking into check. And you cannot walk into check. We've got no pieces to block the check, and we cannot capture the queen. So we win the game. Additionally, rook a8 is checkmate. So, it's not that hard. Let's have a look at another example. Is this position checkmate? Let's go through those 3 points. Can we block the check? No. Can we run away? No. Can we capture the queen? Yes, because this time the queen is not defended. So black can just take the queen and the position is a draw. Neither side has checkmating material. And lots of people get excited and put the queen next to the king. It's very important that that queen is defended by another piece. Otherwise the king can capture it, like in this example. Okay, your turn to have a go. Pause the video now. Is this checkmate? Yes, it is. The king can't move away because of the queen. Same applies if it moves diagonally forwards. Can't block the check because the king and queen are next to each other. Can we capture the queen? No. Kings can't go next to each other because they've got smelly breath, so the king can't be next to the white king. So, well done, it's checkmate. Here's my next example. Is this checkmate? Let's go through those questions again. So, can the king run away? Yes, it can, because nothing in white's army is defending this square. So the king can simply move one square to the right-hand side. And white may be in, black may be in check, but it's not checkmate. And it's checkmate which finishes the game. In fact, if you've only got one bishop, you cannot get checkmate. Okay, is this checkmate? Pause the video and have a think. Yes, it is. We cannot block the check. We cannot move out of the way. The king covers these three squares. And we cannot move forwards or backwards because the rook covers the whole of this line. And you've always got to ensure that the king is in check, but it's in check by the rook. Next question. Is black in checkmate? Let's go through those questions. Can the king run away? No. All of those squares are covered. The queen covers this line and the king covers these squares. Can we capture the queen? No. Can we block the check? Yes. The knight can hop in and block the check. So it's not checkmate. In fact, white's now in check. Make sure you check if you can escape before agreeing it's checkmate. Pause the video. Is this position checkmate? Ask yourself those three questions. So can the king run away? No, because the rooks cover these lines. Can black block the check? No. Can black capture the piece giving check? Yes. So it's not checkmate. Next question, is this checkmate? The knight puts the black king in check. You need to ask yourself those three questions, remembering that when it's a knight, you cannot ever block the check. So there's really only two questions here. Can we capture the knight or can we run away? So, we can't capture the knight and we cannot run away to these squares, but we can run away to this square because white doesn't have any pieces covering it. So the answer is no, it's not checkmate. So hopefully you're getting the hang of that. Now we're going to look at the difference between checkmate and stalemate. So in this position, white moved the queen to c7, thinking they'd won the game. Black cannot run away, cannot capture the queen, and cannot block the check. So you might think that it's checkmate. However, is the black king in check? No. The queen doesn't move like a knight, so the black king is not in check. So it's black to move, but black doesn't have a legal move. Everywhere black moves is moving into check. So because black's not in check, it's actually a draw. That's very disappointing for white, because white's a whole queen ahead. But it's quite complicated to understand. But because the king is not in check, and it cannot move anywhere, then it's a draw by stalemate. So try and understand the difference between checkmate and stalemate. Let's have a look then. So this question, I want you to pause the video and ask yourself, is the black king in checkmate, stalemate, or neither? Because remember, if the king wasn't in check, and black had more pieces, for example a pawn or a knight, black could simply move one of those pawns. So is it checkmate, stalemate, or neither? Correct answer is it's checkmate, because the bishop attacks the king. King cannot run away due to the queen. It cannot block because it's got no pieces. And it cannot capture this bishop. Okay, so here, this time black's got a king and a pawn. And it's black's move. Is black in checkmate, stalemate, or can black move his other piece? And this example, black's moving, we're looking from white's perspective, so the black pawn is moving this way. We always look at positions from white's perspective. So this pawn is moving forwards up the board. Pause the video whilst you have a think. The correct answer is it's stalemate. The black king can't move to any of these squares because the queen is covering these ones. And we can't move here because we can't move on top of our own piece. Can we move this pawn? The answer is no, because it's blocked by the white king. So black is not in check by any of white's pieces, and he does not have a legal move on the board. So it's a draw. Next question. Is this checkmate, stalemate, or neither? The correct answer is it's checkmate. The king's attacked by the queen, which is defended by the king. So we can't take it and we can't move anywhere because of the queen covering those squares. So white has won the game. In this position, is it checkmate, stalemate, or neither? The answer is it's neither. Black can block with the bishop and the game continues. In fact, black's doing very well. The pawns can come down the board and maybe convert into a queen. This is a very tricky example. So, black to play. Is the black king in checkmate, stalemate, or neither? The answer is neither, because whilst the king can't move anywhere due to the queen, the king is not in check, but black has a pawn that he can move forwards. So black can simply move the pawn forwards and the game continues. So to give you a tip, if you're trying to win and you've got an extra queen, don't take all of your opponent's pawns, because then you don't really risk stalemate in the same way. Okay, I'm going to have a look at some checkmates in the opening now. So, when we start a game of chess, moving pawns to the centre of the board is essential, and it's a very good way to play the game. But when people start out, they don't know that, they've not been told that, so they'll make different moves. So let's say, for example, white moves the pawn 2 squares forward. Black knows what he's doing, moves his pawn to the centre, controlling these squares, and white decided to move the pawn up 1 square. So we're 2 moves into the game, and black can actually get checkmate. This is the quickest way to get checkmate in chess. And it's pretty amazing. The queen hops out to h4, attacking the white king. We cannot capture the queen, we cannot block the check, and we cannot move our king. So it's checkmate. That checkmate is called fool's checkmate, because you'd have to be a fool to lose to it. The reason being, white has to play the 2 worst moves on the chessboard. So don't be tricked by somebody into telling you they're the best moves. This very rarely occurs because you have to know the worst moves on the board. But that is the quickest way you can win the game in 2 moves. Now what I want to show you now is something called Scholar's Checkmate. So white moves the pawn to the centre of the board, black copies, and then white moves the queen out to h5. At this point, the only thing white's attacking is the pawn here, because these pawns are both defended. You need to be attacking something one more time than it's defended to be able to capture it. So black decided to defend this pawn. If the queen took, they would lose their queen, which we do not want to do. White moved the bishop out, and black copied. In this position here, white can win the game. Queen captures on f7. This is checkmate, and the reason for that is the king's attacked. He cannot take the queen because it's defended by the bishop. He cannot move because the queen covers these squares, and he cannot block the check. So that is checkmate in 4 moves, and this happens loads and loads of times until people understand how to stop the checkmate. Some black players will move the pawn forward here so the queen can't lunge down to f7. However, still with some more work to do to avoid being checkmated. So queen f3, the queen now comes at this pawn from a different angle. So if black carried on thinking, oh, it's okay, I've defended the mate, then he'll be shocked to see that the queen can now take the pawn and deliver checkmate. So there are a few variations of this, and you do need to know what you're doing. My advice to you is to just move the queen up 1 square. This means that the pawn's attacked twice, but it's now defended twice. So if white were to take the pawn, we can take their queen, they take ours, and we take their bishop. And we emerge from the complications 2 points ahead, because we've taken a bishop and they've taken a pawn. And both sides have got the queen as well. So that is a bad move for white now. And black can continue, let's say white moved here. We can continue with developing moves, attacking the queen, and embarrassing the queen for coming out too early. But you really need to know what to do against this. Lots of people will try it, and it can be quite embarrassing really to lose in 4 moves. So, like I say, my advice to you is to defend the pawn and then move the queen out. And if they move the bishop first before the queen, then you can move the knight out. This time, they go to this square, threatening checkmate. Black can just capture the queen. Happy days. So that was a crash course on checkmate and stalemate. Hopefully you'll understand the difference between checkmate and stalemate. Remember, the king has to be attacked to be in checkmate. So it has to be in check. And stalemate can be very upsetting if you're winning on material and suddenly the game is declared a draw. So my advice for you is do not try and take all of your opponent's pieces, try and get checkmate. But if you just leave your opponent with a few pawns, then there's no chance really of it being stalemate where the game is a draw. So I really hope you've had that light bulb moment where it suddenly clicks, and when this happens, chess becomes so much more exciting because you know exactly what you're aiming to do. A bit like when you turn out the perfect souffle because you've mastered the recipe. Happy checkmating, everyone. Thank you for watching.